guys, this is Theresa at CrowSong Lodge, and I'm back with another kind of end of the year, beginning of the new year kind of video. For those of you who aren't aware, I kind of celebrate years in this really weird fashion. I celebrate the end of the year at Halloween or Samhain, October 31st. And I celebrate the new year at the end of January or February 1st or Imbolc or Candlemas. And that time between the end of October and the beginning of February is kind of like this in-between years period for me. That would be November, December, and January in winter, when in the Northern Hemisphere, well, in the Northern Hemisphere it's winter, and so then animals are hibernating, nature is slowing down, things are kind of taking a rest and a dormant time before things start getting going again in spring. And so that's kind of like, I know it's kind of weird, but it's just what feels right to me. So for that November, December, January period, it's like we're in this sleep time between years for me. So I'm getting ready to celebrate the new year when February comes around. I won't be lighting off fireworks, so my neighbors don't need to worry about it, but I'm now starting to do that self-reflection that most people did at the end of December. So I've had this on my list for a little while. As you guys know, I keep a list of topics to bring up on my YouTube channel, so when you guys ask me questions about things, I do add them to my list. But one thing that I've been thinking about is how there's not a lot of mentors in the community, the spiritual, witchy, pagan community. We have our very, very old timers, but they're not really around on social media, and they don't really participate in the internet community at large. They tend to keep more to their personal covens, and they release books every now and then. Some of them have stopped doing even that. And they tend to their personal local communities, but they don't really participate in the wider internet global community that we have now. And so it's very frustrating. And sometimes it can seem like a lot of people in the New Age, spiritual, pagan, or witchy communities are just in their 20s, or maybe their very early 30s. We don't have a lot of mentors. We don't have a lot of old teachers. We don't have a lot of elders that we really get to see in everyday life to look up to. Especially since when those elders, when they were developing their craft and their spirituality, it was very much a different time, and it was very underground, and you couldn't say you were a witch without expecting your community to ostracize you. And that's how I grew up. My mother was a metaphysician, and she had been since before I was born. And so when I started learning meditation and yoga and visualization and grounding and shielding and protection and all that stuff when I was a kid, she specifically told me not to speak about any of this stuff with anyone outside the family or her specific friends that she introduced to me that way, because it could really put my family at risk. And it's a really scary thing, you know? And so now that we have this wonderful community on the internet, and now that I live in a time, I'm back in California, and I was raised in California. Now that I'm back in California, I really feel a lot more, and with the internet and everything, I really feel a lot more able to express that. Sometimes I still get kind of nervous, and I think that's out of habit or conditioning when I tell people that, you know, what do you do for work? And I say, I'm a professional tarot reader. People don't yell at me as often as they used to when I mention that I do tarot. In fact, I haven't been yelled at in probably decades now, but I have been yelled at in the past by a lot of people. But it hasn't happened in a really long time, and that's really nice. But this lack of mentors has made it a real struggle. And so reflecting on that aging, and I like to think I'm still kind of hip and with it, even though I say things like hip and with it. But reflecting on getting older, it's kind of frustrating to not have anyone who came before me to talk about what this is like. And it was really interesting. I keep tabs and continue to participate in the younger spiritual communities. I recently left the Tumblr communities I was part of because of their new not suitable for work bans on blogs and content, which I think is just biased, unfair, and very discriminatory. But I tend to keep track of a lot of different internet communities where younger people hang out with, where spirituality is explored, because people my age just aren't in those communities as much. They're really much more on Facebook, and I'm not really a fan of Facebook either, so for the same reasons. And so it's kind of weird not having like a wider internet community of older people to hang out with, and that's really kind of frustrating. And here I am, I feel like I kind of like passed over my mother stage, and I'm embracing my crone stage early. I'm definitely not a maiden anymore, and I haven't been a very long time. And so it's weird. I was watching my YouTube watch later list, because that's what I do. I just put all my videos in a watch later list, and then I watch it later. And I watched this wonderful entrepreneur who's amazing. She dropped out of school and she started her own business with a little guidance from her dad, but she's 17 and she's amazing and knowledgeable and she knows so much, and I love watching her videos and I learned so much from her. And then immediately after that there was a video, and here I am, I'm like doing my makeup and getting ready to do my videos, and I watched another video from another creator on YouTube called Is Aging Really All That Bad? And I don't think it is. I think it's wonderful. And it was so funny because while I was getting ready to do these, I was like, what am I gonna wear today? I don't feel like putting anything complicated or uncomfortable on. And I know this might make some of you uncomfortable out there, but I'm really not into bras anymore. I'm having a very hard time finding bras that are comfortable and provide the support that I require, and so I'm just kind of like, the only reason I even wear them is to prevent the whole headlight issue, and that's dumb. It's a dumb thing our society requires. I have a bad knee that I injured in elementary school, so I'm not really a runner to begin with. Anyways, so I thought, I'm just going to be comfortable when I do my videos today. I'm not going to do anything mean to myself, like bind myself up or anything. And I thought, that's very crone of me. I sound very much like an old lady now. And then it was interesting too that I read the other day that I just finished watching the new season of Grace and Frankie, which I love. If you haven't seen it yet, it's got Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, who are much older ladies, and I saw an article the other day about how popular the show is with millennials, and I thought, and technically I'm a millennial, although I think CNN moved me into the Gen X generation, which didn't exist on their infographic. Anyway, so I thought that was so weird that like the older millennials at least are feeling very aged now. We're really identifying with people in their 60s and 70s, and that's kind of crazy. So yeah, this lack of having crones and elders is really, really complicated, and I know that we tend to, I got really frustrated a few months ago because one of the people that I watch on YouTube was complaining about how she can never find female creators on YouTube who aren't doing makeup tutorials, or who aren't all about fashion or other typically feminine things. And like, for one, typically feminine things are awesome, and two, you're just not looking hard enough. And I know that we see that a lot too in the spiritual community. So I would just like to ask, if you are an older pagan or witchy person or new age person out there, would you drop your link in the comments or something so that we can connect out there? I know that with the YouTube and the algorithms and all that stuff, it really favors the younger crowd who are more productive and get more views and all that kind of stuff, but let's create a more well-rounded community and see some of our less marketable personalities and build a community that way. Let's all connect in this like YouTube world or wherever social media that you happen to be on. Although I'm gonna say right now, if you're on Facebook, we're probably not gonna connect. So yeah, so do that. Just so you know, I have a couple favorites out there too. One of my big favorites is Theresa Reed, the Tarot Lady. I'm not sure how old she is. She's like beautiful and ageless and wonderful. I just know she's older than me. Maybe like 2 years, maybe 20, I can't tell. She might as well be like Elven or something. She's just gorgeous and wise and wonderful, and I adore her. So I'll put her link in the doobly-doo for you, and I also love Pleasant Gehman. She's on Instagram. I don't think she does YouTubing, and I'm not sure she has much of a website around, but I'll check for you. She has great information too. I'll put her Instagram in the doobly-doo for you too. She's an icon in so many communities. Y'all really should be following her. She's just a revolution unto a person. It's incredible. Mother Moon Monastery is an incredible channel that I absolutely adore, and I find her so soothing. I really love watching her when I need that centering feeling, a little bit of grounding. Her videos are a little bit long. Maybe I am a millennial because my attention is very short. Although I was thinking about this earlier today, and I think my attention is so short because I'm always working on stuff. It's very hard to sit down and watch an hour-and-a-half video and really get all the nuance and beautiful details and depth and wisdom out of it when you're also trying to run 2 or 3 businesses at a time. So that might be part of the issue. Yeah, and then of course my close personal friend Heather Wooodward. I'm going to put her channel down the doobly-doo for you, as well as Mother Moon Monastery. Maria Soul, she's my age, but I still think of her as a maiden. She's another timeless person. Heather Wooodward is, who I mentioned already, she is just this font of wisdom that is unending and just such an incredible person. So Maria and Heather will both be in the links below. But I'm not sure who else is like no longer in their 20s anymore and doing the YouTubes. So if you're a crone, or you feel like a crone and you've gone past your mother stage, go ahead and throw your links below and let me know who you are, and let's chat and talk about things. There's a lot of other people in the community who are amazing and stuff. They're not quite crossing into that crone stage yet, so it's not like I don't love y'all lols. It's just that you're too young for this video. Anyway, the Theresa at CrowSong Lodge. I will talk to you later.